Guys and gals, what's going on? Well, that's what the video's for. Let's roll the intro. Ooh. As you know, I post a YouTube video about 8-10 minutes. Maybe I'll make a 4-hour and 32-second video one day. It will be unedited though. But what's going on here if uploads? As you know, YouTube gives me a groovy little feature that tells me when, yes, you, my subscriber, watches YouTube, my content, when you guys are most active, and all the other stuff, you know. Got a pretty interesting ratio between male and female over here. Age demographic, it's what I expect, you know. I'm wondering how honest that is because, you know, being 8 years old with a 40-year-old YouTube and Google account, Facebook account when I was 8 makes it interesting. But, you know, groovy stuff. I'm changing the upload schedule from Friday because that's surprisingly when y'all are, like, pretty inactive. Like, okay, cool. My fans have a life, which is cool. But yeah, surprisingly, it's fairly inactive on Friday, and I'm trying to get this to push well to y'all because I want y'all to see it. When y'all like it, comment, interact, YouTube pushes it to newer people, and that gives me more views, more subs, closer to 1,000, which is monetization. That's when the cool stuff really starts to happen. But yeah, we're gonna be changing it to Monday, possibly at 12, possibly at 2, but it's most likely going to be at 2 unless I see any more information come in that says 12, and that will be announced in the video prior before changing. But guess what? You technically get 2 videos in 1 week. Now, if you watched the prior update video, which was made 4 months ago, I talked about doing an import from some interesting things, some oddball herps, some rarities. So as you're seeing on the screen, you have a Xanthic Firebelly Toads. Now, what's going on here besides a blue toad? That's actually a frog. Well, as you know, Firebelly Toads are a really unique animal. You know, they're a frog, a toad, they're a but they're a pretty interesting animal. You know, used to be seen everywhere back when imports were just all over the place. Wild caught every day of the week, $5, and you know, everyone was like, hoorah! Then, you know, a certain little disease outbreak, and amphibians became pretty illegal to almost impossible to import for a good chunk of change, you know, most of my life, which is crazy. Then, you know, import got a little less restrict. You know, you can do it, it's legal, but it was definitely not an easy walk for the park. So put some money together, put some patience, time, and now, you know, there are Xanthic European firebellies in the state. Now, the difference between these and the American firebellies is the American firebellies is a very new gene, very unstable, and the fact that when I actually bred them, a lot of the babies for that line were always just super small, and it was annoying to feed them. And on top of that, they could lose their entire color within 2 years. Where with the Xanthics, the Europeans have been line breeding that morph for, well, longer than I've been alive. And they are super refined, they breed well, babies come out normal size, and I've never heard a European firebelly with the Xanthic gene becoming green once, and none of the ones we have done that or shown any signs, which is sick. Let's wait for the other firebelly and yellow belly morphs and all the cool groovy species will be imported. Guess what? I have one Anoles porcus, a male Anoles porcus. Now why is that? It's pretty much what, you know, he was like, hey, I have a male ready. Female ain't ready yet, but it'll be relatively soon. And it's ready. I'm just getting the money together after buying something else. So, yeah, you know, that's going to be here relatively soon. Good chance it's going to be here probably when the video comes out or a week or 2 after. Anyways, that's fun. Super excited. The only other people who I know who have them is obviously John, who has pretty much all the adults in the US, and Gecko, which breeds mostly tokay geckos, but he has a male too, because he also had a male that's ready, and we're like, Anoles. Thing is, I also said I'm gonna be getting myself some roquettes by importing them. Now, there's a buddy of mine who did a import, and he just got a bunch of Anoles, and I cleared them out. It's actually where that video about buying the thousands of dollars of Anoles came from, and one of them was a roquette. So technically, I didn't import them, but I now do have a roquette pair, Trios blends, and I think I said it right. But those guys, go watch that video if you want to actually learn anything about them. But those guys are pretty sick. The male is growing like a weed. Like, he is almost doubled in size, and it is like nuts. If you remember, I said I only had a male Farius. Now, I've definitely not kept it a secret, but I've gotten 2 female Farius. And if you watched the couple of videos, I believe I mentioned Alligator, but real quick here, pretty much I hit up Armin, and he had 2 female breeders. He wasn't going to be breeding anymore, and they were still relatively young, so it wasn't like they were on death's door or had their last year or 2 of breeding in them. And, you know, I was like, oh, and you said they're blue line too? And then I was like, all right, come here. And now they're in there with him, and I'm fairly sure they're breeding. I keep seeing the females were like, they have like that egg looking body, and then it whoosh, and then it gets the fat whoosh. It's just a constant with them. And I've seen the females grow, so that's typical behavior. Be like, hey, y'all laid an egg. Pretty sick on what is actually for sale as of this video coming up. Oh, I haven't ever spoken about this on the channel, but I have 2 of them. I have 2 male het albino, T positive. Now, that's a pretty cool lizard, you know, $5,000 lizard, go burr, but the heterozygous is not that expensive. Only downside is that it's not confirmed het, only being 66%. So pretty much if you breed it, you're gonna need a visual or 100% het to get any like visual babies. And I have a couple of Anoles barbatus babies, which I always do because they breed like clockwork, and I have a trio. They're banging right now, and the incubators they're all males. They're about 4 or 5 months. Good eaters, eating everything under the moon. Yeah, let me know. DMs, comments, I'll reach out. You reach out, whatever works. And if you haven't watched a couple of my videos, I like to glaze a certain Anole a lot, and it's because they're my favorite of the crown giants, not including any of the Chameleonis if you include them, is Anoles lutoglaris, and they're beautiful. The western crown giant, they're just beautiful. First off, bright green bodies, blue with the blacks in there, and there's that striking white coming down their face. Now, they're a fairly interesting lizard. Pretty much they're at that age where they're gonna just explode in growth. They're just gonna be one day after the other getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they were originally gonna be my breeders, but, you know, the blurry green thing head behind me is, guess what? You know, I got adults, so I don't need that many breeders. Pretty good deal, you know. Most on the market sold like at 2 months old, and you'll have a good chunk of change till they're breeding. This, with their age being around 6 months, you've skipped a good chunk of that change, and you're pretty much right at the cusp when they're actually gonna start looking really cool, and they're already starting to gain those features. I'm looking at them right now. Pretty sick. 600 doubloons, I can work with you, let me know. Let's talk about Jamaican twig anoles. Why are we talking about them? Because, well, this is the part of the video where I explain the future of Royal Anoles and the future projects. Now, what's going on at them? This anole is an anole that's only really bred by 2 folks in the US, and they're not having a good year with them, or the year prior. And it's something that makes me stay up in the middle of the night being like, it actually makes me a little worried, because this is a really cool species, and it is one of the species that I saw and I said, I need anoles. Couldn't find them, and I got Cuban false chameleons because they were a close second, and I adore y'all. But these guys are a dream anole for mine, and I've really been trying to get some, but I've had horrible luck finding pairs, or the people who actually breed them here have had horrible luck this season, and it stresses me out a lot, genuinely. And yeah, and you know, as you know, Jamaican animals can't just be willy-nilly grabbed from the wild, so it's not like we can just get them if they all disappear. So, what's going on? I've pretty much been pulling all my strings to try to get some either from one of these people, one or the other, or buy out some people who have grow outs or pets, essentially. And if any of y'all are watching and have Jamaican twig anoles in any of the countries involving the America, Germany, Europe, Canada, or any other country, but those are all the countries that I can buy from. Me being from the US, I can just pay you, make it simple, or trade animals with you. Being other countries, I'm only gonna be able to pay you because exporting and it's just so much money. I will throw $1 at you if you got the twig anoles, the Jamaican twig anoles for me. I want to breed a banded tree anoles. Why is that? Well, it's because not many people can breed them, and I like to fix that issue. You know, they're a goal species of mine. I want to get them by next year minimum, and hopefully breed them that year, but I honestly don't have any plans of reproducing that species the first year I get, unless they are healthy enough, because the first year's all gonna be about acclimation, being like, hey buddy, you eating good, you eating consistently for me, you got your calcium reserves up, dewormed, everything, because they still come in wild caught at a hefty price of at least $1,800, sometimes $2K, sometimes $2K for one. The prices are all over the place, but they're always high. Yay. But definitely a cool species. I want to breed them. I want to get them going. I want to make sure they have success in captivity, and I want to fulfill my selfish desires of owning this species, but I want to fulfill the greatest desire of reproducing this hard to breed species and making that information more available to get others to reproduce the species and make their prices a little bit more fair and not stupid, because you know, $1,800 for a wild caught animal, in my opinion, is always a little much, especially one that is known to crash. You gotta spend the money to start the coolest of projects. So anyways, hopefully it goes well for me, and yeah, into the video. Remember the price list, remember, uploads on Mondays now. And sub if you like this video, share with your friends, and share with any of your friends who watch my videos, because this is an important video. Anyways, bye.